Assalamu alaikum to some of you and peace to the rest of you. Kuntree Black again, narrating for that, not Black. I mean, Jet Black for my fourth time. I apologize for calling him red earlier. I was wrong, and he's not red. He's yellow, and barely that on his best day. I can't even call him tan unless he's standing next to Dracula. Now, he means well, so his loyalty is to us and against our oppressors, but he's got to be more honest about himself, though. His own wife looked at him and said she loves him, even if he is 0% black. And this ninja said, why would you? I wouldn't love myself if I was 0% black. Besides, how would you know? I'm 200% African with a 1% margin of error. Look at me. You can't even find me without a flashlight right now. She rolled her eyes and apologized for forgetting. The delusion of this ninja. Would someone please send him some Cash App dollars so he can buy a little melanin? He wants to act like he grew up dodging leopards and gorillas on his way to school in the morning, but he barely saw squirrels because if he went outdoors, he'd burn and scream. Sean King got more color than him. I just want this ninja to admit it.
Sorry for cutting in, but he just put you back on suspension for another day. I got it from here on out.
Who the heck are you? I don't know you.
I'm a new guy, too. I wanted to meet you, but I don't think either of us wanted to meet under these circumstances, though. He was about to send me to introduce myself, and then he heard you start the recording. So he sent me to notify you of another day's suspension. I'm just passing the message because he told me to.
You ain't fooling me. You look like him with a bald head. If your voice wasn't different, I'd say he's pretending to be someone else, but he could never sound as cool as you.
Thanks for that compliment, but I'm definitely not him. He's much older than me. I mean, I might be old enough to owe Jesus money, but he's old enough to owe Moses. My name is Black Jermaine Ruckus Jones-Jenkins. I look forward to working with you when you get back from suspension, if you can stay off of it.
I'm Kuntree Black from the swamps of coastal Alabama, and I was born old already, so watch it with the old jokes. I came into this world with a goatee, some ex-wives, a mortgage, and warrants out for my arrest in other states for crimes in places I never went. I was born, wanted for escape in Kentucky. What ninja you know escapes from Kentucky and runs to Alabama to be born? I would say I look forward to working with you, but you're going to be tired of me roasting Jet about his lack of pigment, considering neither of you has much, and I probably can't stay off suspension very long. I'll see you when I get back, though. If Jet will ever stop acting light-skinned about me roasting him with his sensitive ass, do I come back tomorrow?
He said to come back at the same time tomorrow.
See you then, Sir Light Bright. I'll need to bring some sunglasses to look at you when we talk tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, Kuntree Black. I'll bring a translator who speaks both English and country to make it easier for you. Okay, audience? I better take it from here. I'm Black Jermaine Ruckus on my first assignment at the airline studio office, since Kuntree can't seem to stop roasting Jet long enough to stay at work. I am glad to meet you all, though I was hoping to meet you at my own narration instead of having to take over someone else's. However, I follow orders for the most part, and I got bills to pay too. Darknesses, Jet Black sent Kuntree and then me to narrate this for you regarding this push to allow states to ban interracial marriages, mostly by one senator from Indiana, but certainly not limited to him in agreement. A TikToker by the handle of FTPX13-12, a white man himself, told his audience that many whites will leave their spouses and even their own biological kids because they will place white supremacy far above their own love for their spouses, the humanity of their spouses, and even their bond with their own kids. Now, we can't stop roasting each other at this office, but we agree here that white supremacy is a religion, and this white man is telling his audience that most whites don't care enough to oppose any of this. He said that J.D. Vance, the vice president, will turn around and walk away from his wife if it comes down to that. He said white people collectively value white supremacy above all else, and those who don't will still be afraid of those who do. This is what I have heard Jet Black tell you before, and this is one reason I applied to work here. I also know this to be true. I grew up in a neighborhood in which whites were moving out as we moved in, and I saw how their parents reacted sometimes. Not only that, but I saw how their parents were treated if they chose to stay behind in that neighborhood after it was mostly us. Other whites laughed at them for saying they lived in Gator Lake Estates. Whites would ask them, "Why haven't you moved yet? The natives are restless. Tarzan is about to be caught and eaten there." I had to veer off from the narration to tell you this, but why not corroborate this information if I myself witnessed why you should be careful and aware? Here's the way for us to react, those of you who are stuck in the States. What they want on the street is for whites to only be able to marry whites. They want whites to only have white children from here on out. They don't want to vanish, and while I don't think a race will ever vanish, if there is a race that has to worry about it, it's theirs. However, even though I don't think whites will ever vanish, their numbers are declining, and they genuinely fear vanishing, so they will do what they can to stop this. The question is what the elite planners among them want. Do they want other races to be barred from marrying each other? They do just want marriages between whites and non-whites to be barred. Do they want marriages between other non-whites to be barred as well? Now, the best reaction for us black men to have is not an emotional one, but an even keel reaction, if we react vocally at all. We should say that this should apply only to whites because of their fears of vanishing, and because, frankly, why would any self-respecting non-white seek to marry into their families and become their in-laws? We should say that while we black men deserve better than any racist woman at all, be she white or other, what business is it of whites to police that for us? If a black man wants to marry a Latina, then we can decide if we'll police that or not. And we probably won't, realistically, but we won't allow white men or women to tell us who the hell else we can or can't marry. See, if whites don't want us marrying them, fine. It's easier for us and our kids later on. If Arabs don't want marriage with us, we and Arabs just won't marry. Indians generally don't want intermarriage with us, and we'll just not propose to them either. Trust me, it's easier to not marry any racist who eats raw onions in their diet anyway. Do you see how that takes care of itself? We don't need input from white folks to determine that. Their input wasn't necessary to convince Hindus to worship white and despise black anyway, as a part of their religion. Whites walked into India after it was already Hindu, at the top of the caste system already. What interest do many of us have in marrying into that paradigm? If some Mexicans want to marry white and not marry us, we'll just not marry them. They already listened to white folks to reach that conclusion. We don't need any more input from white folks, do we? If we voice any reactions at all, these are the ones to voice, because it respects the individual choice of non-whites, while also pointing out the uniqueness of white racial views among human beings. Whoever you prefer to marry is not addressed in these reactions unless it's a white woman, and frankly, any non-white that prefers white over all else is brainwashed. That's one preference that isn't normal for a moral person to have that isn't white themselves. There are probably only about 5 races of people, but there are many regions and tribes of people that don't necessarily look at white as being over others. And this means options for us. Those whites who want the fence up between them and everyone else aren't really the issue here. They're like that to all other races. The ones who want to stop marriages between other non-whites are clearly overstepping their bounds, though. Damn those folks. They're dangerous, and they seek to further divide and conquer other non-whites. And while I don't see most other non-whites as allies any more than you do, it's not white folks' business how other races relate. The only mistake other races have made in how they relate was to let whites dictate that too much already. Time we start telling them that our friendships and marriages with anyone else ain't their business. They want to control our reproduction. If we don't let sisters control it for us, then guess what? We have no business shrugging our shoulders if whites decide to try the same thing. Their bans should be to control their own reproduction, not anyone else's. I hope this helps. Thanks for listening, Darknesses. As always, black heterosexual, non-select male power just because misandrists and racists don't like it, and black patriarchy until extinction or judgment day. Thanks for flying with us again here on Jet Black Air, where the phrase jet black is also a verb. Keep jetting black with us until the wings and the wheels fall off. Gender, justice, forever.